Hello, and welcome to episode 22 of the podcast for the recently diagnosed. I am Rob Britt, and I was diagnosed with Parkinson's almost 4 years ago, but have symptoms prior to that, of course, that I was in denial for a while. Anyhow, that's for anybody who's just tuning in for the first time. Just got back from a trip up to Kentucky. I went to the Adaptive Climbing Festival, which is in the Red River Gorge area of Kentucky, which is located in the Daniel Boone National Forest. Really beautiful, beautiful area. Got to climb on rock for the first time in 40 years. So that was, just blows my mind that it's been that long, but last time I climbed on real rock, I was living in Arizona and was 22 years old and kind of impetuous and somewhat stupid, fearless, and had no thoughts towards anything negative happening. But I was out and climbed up maybe, I don't know, I want to say it's somewhere between 10 and 15 feet at the most. And the rock I was holding on to broke and I fell and ended up in the emergency room of the hospital. Luckily, nothing too major. I got some stitches and bled a lot, but also kind of totally lost my lack of fear of heights. Prior to that, I was pretty much fearless. I'd climb anything, anywhere, and didn't really think anything about it. But anyway, that's the backstory to this. The front story is the climbing up in the Red River Gorge is amazing. I climbed for 2 days. The Adaptive Climbing Festival, if you've not heard of it, is a festival that's held every year in October in that Red River Gorge. And I think this year there were 300 participants, and they're all people who have some sort of disability, which is why it's the Adaptive Climbing Festival. And we kind of split out into different groups, and there were classes there that were talking, set up for people to introduce them to climbing outside if you've never done that before. And there were lots of classes across the board. Honestly, I only took the introduction to outdoors because I just really had never climbed the way you should climb outdoors, which is safely and on a rope and harnessed in and all that sort of stuff. So I wanted to get that in, and then climbed 2 different locations, one on Friday and one on Saturday. The first one I climbed was an area called the Bruise Brothers, and there were some really cool climbs there. I climbed, the first one was rated at 10, and I'm not really clear on outdoor climbing, but that's somewhere mid-range, or not really hard, but it was pretty hard for me. I got up about 50 feet on that one, and apparently the beginning of that climb was the crux, but at about 50 feet I looked down and kind of got a little paranoid about height and felt like that was good enough for my first effort. Had a few other climbs that day and felt really great out on the rock and secure in my harness and rope and that sort of thing. The second day I went to an area that was called The Office and did a bunch of climbs there as well. So it was really amazing. Unfortunately, Sunday, the weather wasn't good. There was supposed to be another half day of climbing, but that got canceled because the rocks being wet and whatnot. Not too safe to be out there, especially for me, I have a lot of issues with wet surfaces anyway. A lot of slippage, and I've even climbed my home facility in Charleston when it was wet and slipped and bruised myself up pretty good. So I tend to avoid any sort of slippery situations. Anyway, the Adaptive Climbing Festival was amazing. All the people there were incredible. I'm definitely going to be going back next year. And I just can't say enough about it. It was just a magical experience being surrounded by people who are so accepting and wonderful. Anyhow, I highly recommend the Red River Gorge for anybody who likes to climb outdoors. And the next thing that's coming up for me is I got asked to be part of a panel for the Parkinson Foundation. They're having a symposium here in Charleston, South Carolina, which is being presented at the Trident Technical Institute, and it's hosted by Medical University of South Carolina, which used to be my employer for a number of years till I retired. So there you have a quick update on what's going on in my life. I'll probably post another video fairly soon when I talk about the symposium and let you know how that went. But if you have any questions, please ask. And if you like this video, please click the like button. And if you like this content, I'd appreciate any subscriptions. Have a great day and, seize the day.